10 real deaths caused by video games. From parents addicted to games neglecting their children to teenagers going crazy, we count down 10 real deaths caused by video games. Number 10. Game responsible? Halo 3. Back in 2007, a teenage boy named Daniel Petrick was obsessed in Halo 3. So much so that his parents took the game away from him. Instead of just waiting it out and pouting like most teenagers would do, he completely lost his mind. He went into his family's safety box and removed a 9mm pistol and proceeded into his parents' bedroom one night. He put the gun behind his back and told his parents he had a surprise for them and that they needed to close their eyes, and boy was it a surprise. He then shot them both in the head. His father survived the gunshot wound, but sadly, his mother died. Number 9. Game responsible? StarCraft. In 2005, a South Korean man named Seong Seop one day decided that he was fed up with the world and quit his day job so he could spend more time to play his favorite game, StarCraft. He went onto an internet cafe so he could play StarCraft, and he played for 50 consecutive hours, which resulted in his death from exhaustion and dehydration. Number 8. Game responsible? Grand Theft Auto. Devin Moore was obsessed with the popular game Grand Theft Auto, and one day he took his obsession one step further and turned it into reality. In 2003, he stole a cop car, bought a gun, and went on a rampage just like in the game. And he shot and killed 3 police officers. When police were finally able to apprehend Moore, all he had to say for himself was, "Life's like a video game. You've gotta die sometime." Number 7. Game responsible? The internet. In 2007, a man was seen playing an unknown internet game for 72 hours without stopping at an internet cafe. His story is somewhat a bit of an unsolved mystery because no one knows anything more than he was a Chinese man that dropped dead from exhaustion after playing a mysterious online game. Number 6. Game responsible? Prius Online. In 2010, a couple from South Korea had a premature baby, and both of them ended up losing their jobs, and they became quite depressed. As a result of their misfortune, they turned to an internet game called Prius Online. The couple soon became addicted and would spend 12 hours at a time at an internet cafe playing the online sim game. The ironic part of this unfortunate story is that the couple was raising a virtual baby online, and they totally forgot about their real-life baby who ended up dying from malnutrition. Number 5. Game responsible? Halo. 20-year-old Chris Stanford was a healthy young man who loved playing video games, especially Halo. He was well known amongst his friends for his long stints of playing games for up to 12 hours at a time, 2 to 3 times a week. Unfortunately, one day he played longer than usual and didn't bother to stand up or even take a break to stretch. As a result, he developed a blood clot that went from his legs all the way up to his lungs, and he died. Number 4. Farmville. Farmville is one of Facebook's most popular games, but it's basically just a way for you to spend more time on their site. It's an addictive game that millions of people play daily, but for one person, their addiction to the online game turned into a homicide. In October of 2010, Alexandra Tobias was trying to play Farmville, but her 3-year-old son kept crying and she ended up shaking him to death so he would stop distracting her from the game. She's now facing up to 25 years in prison. Number 3. Mr. Ill. In 2004, a man named Zhu Crayoyan was stabbed to death by his friend and fellow gamer Qin Chengwei. Both men were addicted to the game Mr. Ill, and Kui had loaned Zhu a virtual sword to play the game. However, Zhu went behind Kui's back and sold it in an online auction. Kui wasn't happy and filed a police report, but the authorities couldn't do anything because it was a virtual sword and it didn't really physically exist. Kui was even more enraged and stabbed Zhu, and he is now in prison, serving a death sentence. Number 2. Game responsible? Berserk. A 1980s arcade game like Pac-Man and Space Invaders were extremely popular, and so was the Atari game Berserk. 2 men by the names of Peter Brzozowski and Jeff Daly were addicted to the game. They didn't know each other at all and lived lives thousands of miles away from each other. They were both trying to get the highest score in Berserk, and they reached a high score of 16,600 points in the game. The eerie thing about the story is that both men were playing the same game in 2 different arcades in different cities on the same day at the same time, and they both dropped dead after entering their names in beside their high scores. Number 1. Nintendo Wii. If you're a gamer, then you probably remember when the Nintendo Wii first came out. People were going crazy trying to auction off their consoles for double the price. During the height of all the craziness, in Sacramento had a giveaway. The competition was called Hold Your Wii for a Wii. Jennifer Strange was one of the competitors of this promotion, and she drank 2 gallons of water and held it in so she wouldn't go to the bathroom, in hopes to win a Nintendo Wii. Unfortunately for Jennifer, the only thing she won was water intoxication, and she ended up dying. After her death, the radio station was sued for $16 million.